All right, to find the equation of some circles with some endpoints of their diameter, we'll need a couple formulas. So one thing we'll need is the distance formula. The distance between any 2 points on the plane is given by the difference in their x's squared plus the difference in their y's squared. That's going to give us how far it is between these 2 points. We'll also need a midpoint formula. So to find the middle of 2 points on a plane, we can add the x's together and divide by 2, and then we can add the y's together and divide by 2. And finally, we'll need the equation of a circle. The equation of a circle in general form is typically given by x minus h squared plus y minus k squared equals r squared. And what all these things mean, h and k represents the center of the circle, and r is the radius. Now, that's a lot of formulas to do one problem, and here's kind of the general reason why we need them. We think about this, we have a coordinate plane, and we have one point at 2, 6 right here. There's 2, 6. And we have one point at 6, -4. So somewhere right there. Now, what I want to do is I want to find the equation of a circle that kind of goes through those points, something like that. Well, the diameter is this point right here. So I need two things about this. One thing I'll need to know where the center of the circle is. Well, if this is my diameter, the center is going to be in the middle of that diameter segment. I'm also going to need to know what the radius is, which is from that center to the edge. So once I find my center, I can find the distance from that center to the edge of the circle. Once I have those two things, I can plug into my equation and get my circle equation. So first, let's start with the midpoint. So I want to find the middle of these two. So I'm going to add the two x coordinates and divide by 2. And I'm going to add the two y coordinates and divide by 2. So 2 plus 6 is 8. 8 divided by 2 is 4. 6 plus -4 is 2. 2 divided by 2 is 1. So my center of this circle down here is 4, 1. So now what I want to do, I've got part of it. So for my circle equation, I've got some of the stuff I need. I've got h and k now. Now I've got to find the radius. So to find the radius, I'll go ahead and I will find the distance from 4, 1 to 2, 6, or 4, 1 to 6, -4, but I'm just going to use the positives. So the distance between this point and this point, I will first subtract the x's, and it doesn't matter what order you go in, so I'll just do 2 minus 4 squared, plus, then I'm going to do 6 minus 1 squared. So this d, now this distance is really the radius, so you can actually say r if you'd like. So this is -2 squared, plus 6 minus 1 is 5 squared. So this is going to be 4 plus 25, which is 29. So that is my radius. So now that I know my radius, which is square root of 29, and I know my center, which is 4, 1, I can write my equation of my circle. All I'm going to do is I'm going to write x minus h. Now this circle center is hk, so it's going to be x minus 4 squared plus y minus 1 squared. And now it equals the radius squared, but my radius is square root of 29. So when I square it, I just get 29. So squaring the square root just makes that go away. So that would be my equation of my circle. So if I want to try another one, this is just one. I just kind of made up 2 points. I can do kind of the same thing. So my center is going to be the midpoint of these two ends of the diameter. And be careful, Alex sometimes will give you the center and 1 point on the edge. Then you wouldn't have to do this part because you'd already have the center. But in this case, we do 3 plus -7 over 2. And we do 6 plus 0 over 2. So that's going to be -4 over 2, which is -2, and 6 over 2, which is 3. So that's my center. So that's going to be my h and k. And so now I'm going to find the distance from that center to one of those points. Just for simplicity's sake, I'm going to find the distance between this point and negative 7, 0, just because it makes a 0, but it doesn't really matter. So the radius is that distance. So I'll subtract the x's, so a negative 2 minus a negative 7 is plus 7, because two negatives are a positive. And then 3 minus 0 squared. So that radius is going to be negative 2 plus 7 is 5 squared. And 3 minus 0 is 3 squared. So that's going to be 25 and 9. So that's going to be the square root of 34. So now to finish my equation of my circle, I have my radius, I have my center. So it's x minus h. Now in this case, it's negative 2. So minus a negative 2 makes it a positive 2, because always the opposite sign, squared, plus y minus 3 squared equals 34. Because I take the square of the square root, and I just get that value. So lots of steps, none of them really super complicated, but there's certainly lots of different steps to go and get your equation of your circle.